moving into a college dorm, the rite of passage that feels more like a rite of chaos. You know, they say college is where you find yourself, but I think it's more accurate to say college is where you find out just how much stuff you can cram into a tiny room before it starts to resemble a scene from a hoarding reality show. I mean, who knew that a single human being could accumulate so many random items? I packed like I was preparing for a zombie apocalypse, but instead of canned beans and a first aid kit, I brought an inflatable flamingo, a collection of mismatched socks, and enough snacks to feed a small army. So there I was, standing in front of my new home, a glorified closet with a bed, a desk, and a window that overlooked a brick wall. I had dreams of a picturesque view, maybe a sprawling campus, or a sunset over the quad, but no, my window offered me the delightful sight of a wall that had seen better days. I could practically hear it whispering, "Welcome to adulthood, kid. Enjoy your stay." Unpacking was an adventure in itself. I started with the essentials. My bedspread, which I had chosen based on how many Instagram likes it would get, and my mini fridge, which I was convinced would be my lifeline. I mean, who needs a social life when you have a fridge stocked with leftover pizza and energy drinks? But as I began to unpack, I realized I had brought way too much stuff. I had 3 different types of laundry detergent, a collection of books I'd never read, and a plant that I was convinced would thrive in the fluorescent light of my dorm room. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Then came the moment of truth, meeting my roommate. I had heard horror stories about mismatched personalities, but I was optimistic. Maybe we'd bond over late-night study sessions and shared snacks. Instead, I walked into the room to find my roommate sitting cross-legged on her bed, surrounded by a fortress of pillows, wearing noise-canceling headphones and staring intently at her laptop. It was like stepping into a scene from a quirky indie film. "Hi," I said, trying to sound cheerful, but she just nodded without looking up. I felt like I had just interrupted a very important meeting with the CEO of awkwardness. As the days went by, I learned the unspoken rules of dorm life. First, never, and I mean never, leave your door open unless you're prepared for a parade of strangers to come in and ask for your Wi-Fi password. Second, the communal bathroom is a battlefield. You think you know what it's like to share a bathroom? You don't. It's a game of survival. You have to time your showers perfectly, like you're in some sort of Olympic event. You sprint in, dodge the rogue hair on the floor, and pray that the hot water lasts long enough for you to rinse the shampoo out of your hair before the water turns ice cold. And let's not forget about the kitchen situation. I thought I'd be whipping up gourmet meals in the communal kitchen, but instead, I found myself staring at a microwave that looked like it had survived the Great War. I attempted to make popcorn, and it exploded everywhere, turning me into the dorm's version of a culinary disaster. I could hear the whispers, "Oh, that's the girl who can't even make popcorn." By the end of the semester, I had survived the chaos of dorm life, forged a bond with my roommate over our shared love of late-night snacks, and learned that sometimes the best memories come from the messiest situations. So here's to college dorms, the tiny spaces that teach you about life, friendship, and the importance of knowing how to properly use a microwave.